Well, hey y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I am Susan, your hostess, and if I look a little tired this morning, I am. This has been 1 week of canning back to back, and I'm not getting any younger. So, one of my friends gifted us some muscadines, and I need to do something with them. I've got plenty of muscadine jelly on the shelf. I've got some juice on the shelf, and whatever I have left over from this batch, I'm probably going to just juice and jar it up and get it into the pantry because we like to have juice on hand. I can always take it out and make a syrup with it, or jelly, or we can drink it. So what did I decide to do with these? I am going to do an old-fashioned muscadine jelly, or jam, I should say jam. This does not take any pectin in it, you know, the Sure Gel. It doesn't take any Sure Gel. Even though I have it on hand, I could do it another way. I wanted to try this recipe out. So this is my first time doing this recipe, y'all. This comes out of the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. The recipe is found on page 23, right here at the bottom. And with this recipe, I am going to, once I get the grapes done according to this recipe here, I'm going to move over to the apricot recipe and follow steps 1 through 4. And then we're going to have, hopefully, 6 8-ounce jars or 6 half pints of grape jam on our shelves for long-term storage. I'm super excited about that. I love my home pantry and my home canned goods, and this is just going to add to that collection of stuff that I'm having. Now we're working through the muscadine jelly, and I'm also gifting it out to people that want it because I did a lot of that up 1 year, and we're still working on that. And as long as it stays sealed, it's still good. It's in a dark, cool room. So we are all set on that. So let's get in the kitchen and look at these muscadines and follow this recipe. The recipe calls for 8 cups of either Concord grapes or muscadines or scopernogs. These are beautiful, beautiful muscadines. Aren't they pretty? They'll be a beautiful grape color when this is finished. And the recipe calls for 6 cups of sugar, which I've measured out. I'm just keeping it covered because it's fruit. We have fruit flies because I've been canning so much. And I'm just going to get these rinsed. I'm going to get my saucepans ready, and then we're going to get started with the process. These have been washed and all the stems have been removed and any debris. And I'm going to move on and get these, pop the pulp out of the middle of these and put the skins in one pot and the pulp in another. I've already sterilized my jars. I've actually got 6 half pints in there and 3 3/4 pints just in case. Now the recipe doesn't say this, but I'm just going to kind of score these just a little bit because I want to get those skins off, and we're supposed to press these and get that pulp out of there and put your skins in a separate pot. So I'm going to go through all of these and get that done. And That one had a little spot on it. Anyway, this is what the pulp is going to look like as I go through it. I have a pot over here that's going to have the skins in it. Now these are, it says use saucepan. So this is a saucepan. This is more of a Dutch oven type or soup pan. I picked this one out because I know that when you add sugar to it, it's going to boil up. I don't want it to boil over the pot. Alrighty folks, we're ready to get this started, and I'm just going to read, this makes about 6 8-ounce jars or 250 ml jars. You need 8 cups of stemmed Concord Muscadine or Scappernod grapes, and that is a 2 liter for those of you overseas. 6 cups of granulated sugar or 1.5 liters if you're overseas. It has some instructions in here or tips for long boil soft spreads. Do not use added pectin. Use 3 parts fruit that is fully ripe to 1 part fruit that is slightly underripe. Underripe fruit generally has a higher pectin content, which helps the spread form a gel. When making a long boil jam, it is essential to maintain a close vigil on the boiling fruit mixture. As the spread thickens, it tends to stick to the pan and can easily burn if not stirred frequently and thoroughly. Using a heavy bottomed, good quality saucepan also helps to prevent scorching. If your mixture has not reached a gel stage when first tested, return it to the pan to medium heat and cook, stirring constantly for additional 5 minutes. Repeat gel stage and cook as needed. That's the tips. Using your fingers, pinch individual grapes, separating skins and pulp into 2 saucepans. Bring grape pulp to a boil over medium heat and boil, stirring frequently until soft, about 10 minutes. Press pulp through a fine sieve and discard seeds set aside. So that's the step we're on, and that's where we're going. Okay, we've reached a boil, and I've set my timer. As you can tell, the pectin's releasing and it is thickening up. And the seeds are being released from the grapes. I'm doing a little bit of mashing just to try to break up some of the clumps. My timer's about to go off. And my grape mixture is now pretty smooth. I have pulled out a bowl and my sieve. I could not find my stand. I have another sieve that has a stand and it has the mortar in it. So I'm going to use a wooden spoon handle to reach down in there. And then I'm going to do some pressing with a spatula if I need to. And my time is up. We're going to move this off our burner and get it poured into the sieve. I'm making sure I have all my seeds out of this pot because I'm going to be putting everything back into it. And I'm just going to leave it off the heat for just a moment. I'm going to start with my spoon. And I'm just going to press this through. You can see it dripping. And it may take me a few minutes to get this done. I think the spoon reaches in there pretty good, so I may not need that wooden spoon or the other. But the idea here is you're getting all the pulp out of there and leaving nothing but the seeds. And I'll show you that when we're done. So I'll be right back. Alright, we are going to get all this goodness off the side of this sieve. That's the old-fashioned term for this, I'm sure. I have my mother's set up here, or I gave it to my daughter. One of my daughters received that, and I picked up another one not too long ago that came with the mortar and everything. And it's so important you keep all of these pieces together if you ever come across it. Okay, that is the seeds inside. I'm going to move you in closer. Seeds. And I'm getting as much of this good grape pulp off as possible off my sieve. Those will be discarded to the birds. And I'm going to put this back in our pot that I have waiting. And here's the pulp with all that good pectin in there. Okay, get this spatula and get this scraped, because you don't want to lose any of this good juice and pectin. All right, that's pretty good. I'm going to return this to the burner in a moment. I'm going to move this to the front, take my lid off, and it says just enough water to keep it from scorching. So I'm going to do probably about a cup of water. So I'm going to add a cup of water to this, and if I need more water, I'll add it. Since I got the wooden spoon out, I'm going to use it. We're going to turn this on to a medium heat, and we're going to allow these to cook down and release all that beautiful color and juice remaining in those skins. And remember, these are the skins that came off all the grapes. So we're going to allow that to get up to temperature. And that step says add enough water to prevent sticking, bring to a boil over medium heat, reduce heat, cover and boil gently until skins have softened and liquid is nearly evaporated, about 10 minutes. Combine skins and pulp in a large, deep stainless steel saucepan. So that's the step 2 that we're on. At a boil, and once it comes to a boil, I'll lower the heat and we will cover the pot for 10 minutes. And I'm assuming that I'm supposed to leave the pot lid cracked because it says that some of the liquid will have evaporated, nearly evaporated in 10 minutes. So we'll see what this looks like in 10 minutes. So we're almost at a full boil is what we want. And then we're going to lower the heat and cover this for 10 minutes. And I'm going to cover. I'm going to leave it cracked because I think it's supposed to be cracked, and I'm lowering my heat and I'm setting my timer for 10 minutes. Alright, y'all. It looks like they've released more juice than lost juice, but it is what it is. I guess it's probably a little less than what I put in there. So we're going to go ahead and get this mixed into the other pot. Okay, we've reached a rolling boil now. I've turned my heat down just a little bit because I do not want this to boil over. And I'm continuing to stir. I'm just going to let this go for a few minutes and then we're going to test it. The spoon test, and y'all, it's sheeting off of the spoon now. If you're in doubt, you can always pull out a candy thermometer. One of these. 219 degrees is jelly stage. Let's get this canned up. 7 half pints and I have 3/4 pints that have been sterilizing, and I am not scooping off the bubbles. We don't care in this household. So I'm going to try to get these filled up to that 1/4 inch space. We're going to debubble them. And I overfilled that first jar. I've got spoons out here. I can spoon it over to other jars. It looks like more in this than the recipe called for. And it might be because I had a little bit more liquid from my skins than expected. So next time I'll cut back a little bit on the water that I add. But this should be fine anyway. I'll leave that one like it is because I'm going to have to do some skimming. And if there's any left over, it can go into the refrigerator and be used up, or it can go into your freezer. Most canning jars are freezer safe. I know they will say it on the side of the box. And we may have enough left over in here for another half pint. We're going to check our jars. It has a good flavor, by the way, y'all. Really good flavor. It looks like I've got 7 half pints out of this. We're going to wipe our thing off because it's sticky. And I'm going to switch ends. And I need to add just a tad more to each jar, so I'm glad I didn't try to pour that over into the other jar, the little bit I have in here. I know I'm standing in front of the camera. I apologize for that. We're going to double check this. And I should be right on the money. They are good. I'm going to wipe the jars with some vinegar on a clean rag. And one at a time, I'm going to place them in my canner. I don't want to make a mess doing this. We're going to center this using 4 fingers, 2 on each side. Take our band, hold it above, and put our finger on that lid, and then finger tighten it this way. Grab my handy dandy tool, and I'm going to 3 finger tighten this and get it into my canner. So an extra pint out of this is great. Okay, I have quite a bit of water over them. I'm going to apply the lid. We're going to wait until we see steam coming out, then we're going to set our timer for 10 minutes. Okay, we are steaming, so we're up to temperature. I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. And the timer's gone off. I'm going to turn my heat off. We're going to remove the lid, and we're going to allow this to sit for 5 minutes. So I have moved my lid to the side. I'm going to set a timer, and then we will remove the jars. The timer has gone off, and we're going to remove our jars. Happy little pings I'm hearing. It looks all of them but one have sealed so far, so I should be hearing one more ping at least. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful jam. Today we have made Old Fashioned Muscadine Jam. Yum, yum. Can't wait to try it. I do believe one of the jars is not going to seal, and if it doesn't, it will either be used up immediately and we'll put it in the refrigerator, or we'll put it in the freezer and save it for another day. Jams and jellies are freezable on the most part, so that is a way to save a product that doesn't go bad. I want to thank everybody for coming along with me on this canning adventure. I'm already in the kitchen doing the juicing, and you can watch that video right up here above my head. I want to thank everybody for coming, and may you be